Hello and welcome back to Open Everyone. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche. Always inviting you to get social with us online. That's right. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Snapchat, Insta Stories, LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. All right, so we're going to get a little serious right now because more than 6 months ago, Hurricane Maria rocked the island of Puerto Rico, causing most of its residents to flee for food and shelter. And well, now those same residents are being kicked out of their hotels because Fema has decided to end its transitional sheltering assistance beginning April 20th. And well, it's a major issue, which will force these families to go to shelters. And so yesterday, many joined together at the steps of City Hall to discuss this very issue. And joining us now to tell us more about the conference, we welcome hashtag OurPowerPRNYC and Coalition Standing with Puerto Rico advocate Soldanela Rivera.
Thank you, Rhina. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's open up with thanking you, Soldanela, because you have been diligent in making sure that we remain informed and that we continue to unite on every single cause that is related to assisting Puerto Rico and those who are still trying to rebuild a life after post Hurricane Maria.
I know. Well, it hasn't been me alone. There are a lot of angels. This action really was a community-inspired and action-taken protest. The ladies, Elizabeth Yampier and Marta Moreno Vega, really inspired a whole coalition that came together one night a couple of weeks ago at Hostos Community College. And it was beautiful. It was very organic. In less than an hour and a half, around $2,000 had been raised by everyone there, and we gave it to the families. We helped in every way we can. We heard their stories. We met them. And the call to action was like this, we have to say something about this. And she was right, you know, Marta, who was really the one to urge us on. And I think the atmosphere was right. I think all of us Puerto Ricanos and allies were there are truly concerned for the families, for everything that's happening in Puerto Rico. And we came together. And it happened, and we moved.
And the thing about it is that I think it's important that we remain being a stand for Puerto Rico and our Puerto Rican neighbors who are unfortunately displaced right now and really are going through. I can only imagine. And so they need us.
They need us.
And I say they need us
too,
because I'm Puerto Rican and I'm also part of this coalition. And there was a press conference that took place yesterday in City Hall, and I know a lot of people showed up. And because today is the day that FEMA has issued this new transition, or rather canceled, what was the outcome from yesterday's press conference?
Well, it's developing. It's maturing. By the end of the day, I did see a few news hits that pointed towards Governor Cuomo saying that he will make this work, that they will pay the bill. So I know for a fact that there are a lot of amazing souls out there working behind the scenes to hold people accountable, see what's moving forward. I believe that they will not be kicked out today. If the worst case scenario does come to pass, we have a contingency plan created again by other members of these coalitions, Diaspora por Puerto Rico, the Bronx Coalition supporting Hurricane Maria evacuees, Latino Justice, our leaders from the community. There are so many people putting in actions towards like what's going to happen and making sure that they are not kicked out, and that another way to really solve this problem is thought out. I mean, these leaders are smart people. They should sit down and talk, and there is a way to solve this that does not require disrespecting and stepping on people's dignity the way that they have been.
Right. There's no room for disregard. We're Americans.
We're human beings
You're right. Yeah,
above
right.
anything else. You know,
Yes.
this is about people. This is about people's hearts. I mean, you said before, you know, that they need us, and we need them. You know, being with some of these ladies, Sofia, Sandra, Andrea, speaking with this woman, Desiree, Roxana. There's so many, you know, their spirits are so beautiful, and they are speaking up for not only the people in New York, but for all of the families. This is not only happening here, this is happening across the nation. You know, this is a crisis. And we need to look at it. We need to really, really look at that.
Well, yes, and really what you're addressing is the humanitarian crisis that
Yeah.
we are seem to keep seeping into a deeper hole.
Absolutely.
Because just in general.
Yeah.
Just because we're on the topic, the fact that Puerto Rico lost the electricity, right? They lost light just a couple days ago. I know there are certain parts of the island, which means that it's not really being handled accordingly.
Exactly. It's a grave catastrophe, very complex, and we need to work together. And the action of yesterday, we hope that it does make a change, that it does make a difference, and that we continue to, you know, give each other wind to speak together about respect and justice for the island.
And so what was the turnout at yesterday's
It was a wonderful
conference?
turnout. I think that even the ambiance during the conference was calm. The community came out. The women spoke from the heart. They had their remarks. They made their plea. And on behalf of their families and all of the other families across the nation. And I think it mattered. I'm really hoping that it did.
And we're addressing
that it made a difference.
We're addressing New York, but this is also happening in Florida as
yeah,
well.
Yeah. I'm saying like all over Ohio, Connecticut, Florida, of course, Texas, Colorado. I mean, all the way out in lesser numbers, of course. I haven't had time to really look at the numbers.
Oh, you've been doing such a wonderful job.
But the
keeping
other
us
people, you know,
informed.
a lot of numbers have been thrown around, you know, from what I've been reading in the news, and then from the other conversations that I've been a part of, and so it's really hard to say, which is why really the matter is so delicate, because the Puerto Rican diaspora is so interwoven into the fabric of the country that it's really hard to say where everybody is. But in relation to the families that are in Fema, you know, they're trying to find a way out, and that is what is a disconnect, you know. How do we service this? How do we bring some kind of roadmap, offer them something so that we understand how we're going to manage this in the long term? Because this is not just now.
Is just now. This still has a lot.
And the other thing I want
it's
to
a
point out,
long-term commitment.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did want to say is that before, you know, in conclusion, that Bronx stepped up.
Oh, absolutely!
The Bronx,
my God,
as a borough, stepped up.
Yeah, yes. Amazing people, you know, beginning with my boss, OSTA's President David Gomez, who, when the hurricanes hit Irma and Maria, you know, he was so, he had the foresight. Through his lament, you could see, he like, let's sit and let's think this long term and how we can really help our community. And we offer, you know, the resources of our school to provide recently a resource fair where we came together with a lot of other angels and, you know, to work together from NITIS, Lila Mejia, Mr. Guraitis, Luz Correa. I mean, just so many people. I want to mention them all and the pressure, but and to offer people, and in the worst case scenario, we will have some kind of command space where they can keep their space so that they have somewhere to go while they process their cases if the worst case scenario came about. So today it's a lot of developments. But in addition to us, there are other people that are really putting over time and their heart to help out. And we're all helping one another
Right.
bring this some kind of net.
Right, a net.
Catch you.
That's a great word, a net to catch everyone.
Yeah.
And
It's beautiful.
No, it's beautiful.
beautiful.
It's beautiful, and I think that's the note we're going to end on, because what you just shared is that for anybody who may be wondering like what they can do, Hostos is an outlet. Hostos is some place you can actually go and inquire further, because there are going to be continuous events going on. As we mentioned, it's a long-term effort, and I want to thank you, Sol, for coming here and sharing it with our viewers. And I can't say it enough for making sure that you keep us fully informed on all the steps as we continue on these efforts to be that safety net for our beloved Puerto Rican families.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you guys, once again, for more information on how you can bring more awareness to Puerto Rican families that are affected by Hurricane Maria and participate in the hashtag OurPowerPRNYC campaign. That's hashtag OurPowerPRNYC campaign. I don't know, I'm tongue twisted right now. You can visit also uprose.org. That's uprose.org. They're one of the leading organizations in this initiative as well. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear from an Emmy-nominated producer that changed her life around to cope with a health diagnosis. So don't go anywhere.